Hello everyone, how are you all? This is Mohammad Nabil Rahman once again with you, a student of DBA program in a California Intercontinental University. And today is our sixth unit presentation of the subject Business Research Methodology and Quantitative Statistics, presented to Dr. Ming Long. And the topic which we are going to discuss today is conducting a simple regression. Alright, let's move on to the agenda. So in agenda we are going to discuss about the regression, then relation among the variables. After that we will see the results after analyzing it, and we'll see the important takeaways, and later on we will see the question answer session. So first of all, let's move to the regression. What exactly regression is, and giving a briefly introduction about the regression so we can understand before starting the analysis. So regression is a basic and common use type of predictive analysis. So we are going to discuss about the two regression types. One is linear regression and other one is a multiple linear regression. So we have basically discussed only linear regression here. So overall idea of regression is to examine two things. So we are going to discuss on the first part. Does a set of independent variable do a good job in predicting an outcome, which means a dependent variable? And these regression estimates are used to explain the relationship between one dependent variable and one or more independent variable. As far as I know, if there is a one independent variable, then we'll say it's a linear regression. And if we are going to conduct between two or more independent variables, we'll say it's a multiple linear regression. So moving further, we have been given a three hypotheses here. The data set has been already given to us, which we have already summed up in our unit 4th and 5th presentation as well. So we use that particular data set and we have put the values in PSPP software again. And the dependent variable for the first hypothesis is debt, and the independent variable for the first hypothesis is income. So what is a regression hypothesis? The slope of regression is 0. So beta means a slope of regression. We got 1 point here. That beta means a slope of regression. So null hypothesis will be beta is equal to 0. An alternative hypothesis, which always opposite to the null hypothesis, it says the beta is not equal to 0. So rejection rule will be, we will reject the null hypothesis when p is less than alpha. P value is less than alpha. We will say that we are going to reject the null hypothesis. And we all know that the alpha value is 0.05 throughout in our project. Even as I think so that we have been answered this question in quiz as well in probably unit 4th or 5th assignment or quiz. I have no idea. So what we have done here, we open the PSPP software, we open our files, we put the values of set file into PSPP, and then we move to the analyze section. We click on the regression, then new tabs open. We click on the linear regression, then the new window opened. What we have done there, we put two values, the dependent value and independent value. So the dependent value here is debt and independent value is income. So the null hypothesis will be the regression coefficient between debt and income is 0. An alternative hypothesis will say the regression coefficient between debt and income is non-zero. So when we analyze our test, we found that there is a no significant regression there. Why we said that? Because we find the p-value is more than 0.05. 0.05 is alpha value. So if we find the p-value is greater than alpha value, so there will be no significant relation found. So we are going to, we are not going to reject our null hypothesis. We will reject the null hypothesis only if p-value is less than alpha. Moving on to the second hypothesis. In the second hypothesis, we got savings as a dependent variable and income as an independent variable. Again, we have been given a null hypothesis. The beta must equals to 0. Alternative will say the beta is not equal to 0. So the rejection rule will be, we will reject the null hypothesis if p is less than alpha. Again, we put the values in PSPP software, we analyze the data, and we made the null hypothesis. Here is a regression coefficient between savings and income is 0. Alternative hypothesis says the regression coefficient between savings and income is non-zero. What we done, we put the values, we analyze the data, and we found that the simple linear regression was found between savings and income. So significant regression was found. Why? Because we find that the p-value is less than 0.05 and we found the p-value is 0.00 here. So equation is y is equal to beta x plus c, where y is dependent variable and x is independent variable. So independent is income here and dependent is saving. So savings is predicted to increase as increase in income, because we know that changing in income will change the savings. 95% of coefficient efficient found 0.094 and 0.109 doesn't contain 0. So we will say that we are going to reject null hypothesis because p-value is less than alpha, and we are going to accept the alternative hypothesis, and which is coefficient between savings and income is non-zero. Moving on to the third hypothesis. Here we are given the dependent variable stocks and savings has been given as an independent variable. Again, we know the null and alternative hypothesis. The rule of rejection will be that if p-value is less than alpha, we are going to reject the null hypothesis. So we again put our values, we again open the windows of linear regression, we changed our dependent and independent variables. Now we have put this stocks in a dependent column and a savings in an independent column. We clicked OK and we found the results that significant regression was found because beta value is 0.284 here, it's in a positive. Okay, we find that if the value of independent variable increase, will it affect the value of dependent variable? We have to see the p-value. Oh yes, p-value is 0.00. Yes, it means the p-value is less than alpha again, so there is a significant regression. So stocks is our dependent variable, savings is independent variable, and beta, which is slope, is 0.284. So what we can say from it, that stock is predicted to increase as savings increase. Here I want to tell something, that if the value of b, which is beta, which is slope, is in negative, then we will say that the increase in saving will decrease in stocks, or decrease in savings will increase in stocks. But there is no negative value. It means if a savings will increase, stock will definitely gonna increase. So we will say that the 95% of coefficient 0.074 and 0.254 doesn't contain 0, which means that we are going to reject our null hypothesis and we are going to accept our alternative hypothesis. The regression coefficient between stocks and saving is non-zero. So before moving forward, just going to sum it up, that we have been given a three hypotheses. First hypothesis, we failed to reject our null hypothesis. We failed to reject our null hypothesis. But in second and third hypothesis, we have reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. Moving on next, what are the important takeaways we got from this assignment presentation? A linear regression test can be performed in PSPP software. Although PSPP software is very heavy, I have opened the PSPP software. I just checked the different aspects of PSPP, but I have performed all of my tests in SPSS because it's in easy for me, and the files open it very easily. Again, one more thing, PSPP software has to be purchased and it's not been easily available on internet. Might be there are some website which cannot be open in my region. Second point is regression helps finding us if independent variable affects a dependent variable. Either we are going to accept the null hypothesis or reject the null hypothesis. Sorry, not accepting the null hypothesis, fail to reject the null hypothesis. If independent variable has effect on dependent variable, does it affect positively or negatively? If the slope is positive, then the increase in one value will definitely increase the other value as well. But if the slope is in negative, then we will say the decreasing in the independent variable will increase the dependent variable. The last one is the regression analysis help us to understand how much the dependent variable changes with a change in one or more independent test. So I tried to sum it up within a 10 minutes because we have been given a shortage time for our presentation. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much once again for watching my presentation, and if you want to get some more information and if you have any query, go to the discussion platform. I'm waiting for you there, and I'm hopeful that I will answer all your questions there. So that's the end of the sixth unit presentation, and we have summed up our uh, whole this subject, which is very good, and it helped especially me in improving my statistics, because while we have started this subject, I was worried about that. But Dr. Ming Long, thank you very much, you helped me a lot. Your hands were with me, and in the last, I would like to say thank you again, because you were always been there as a support. And if I had any query, I text you, and your remarks were very motivating for me. Thank you very much. I have gained a lot from you, and words are really nothing, because you have done a lot for us while providing us a facility to present ourselves. And all other course fellows, best of luck for your presentation. Thank you very much, and bye bye, and bye.